Hello, welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino. Our guest today is Jill Flournoy. Jill is an entrepreneur who owns and operates an event planning and party rental business in Atlanta called The Bash. She also owns a real estate investment company. Her first business venture in 2001 was the development and operation of a Brewster's Ice Cream in Decatur, Georgia. And that store ranked fourth in national sales in just her second year of operation. Jill is the president of the Point Berkeley Association and is a board member of the Montessori Institute of Atlanta. Jill, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Jill, what products and services does the Bash offer?
Diane, the Bash offers full event planning services for individuals and corporations. We also have a wide variety of rental items. We rent everything from tables and chairs and linens to really unique theme items like sumo wrestling suits and fog machines, bubble machines.
You provide both standard and custom packages. What would be an example of a custom package?
We have many custom packages ranging from Buccaneers bashes to Mad Hatter tea parties. The Mad Hatter tea party is one of our most requested packages. It comes with tables and beautiful silver candelabras, giant oversized teacups, tea party foods, and the guests just have a great time going down the path of Alice in Wonderland.
Why did you choose to start a business rather than going to work for someone else?
Growing up, my dad owned businesses, and I think I fell in love with the idea of the harder that I worked, the more gratifying my business would be and the more money that I could make from it. And that's a concept I think a lot of Americans buy into, and that's why we have so many small businesses in the United States.
You told me that you also counsel people who want to start their own businesses. Isn't that just what everybody else is doing called coaching, or what do you offer that's different from that?
When I counsel somebody who would like to start a business, I take them through the process of all of the nuts and bolts of what they are going to need to know specific to their industry or product. Mm-hmm. And so we do a lot of research together about that industry, and I make recommendations based on my own experiences and based on the research about what kinds of licensing are they going to need, what kinds of systems of operations will they need to have in advance. And we really deal with the actualities of owning a business instead of the mission statement or the philosophy of having a business.
You hold a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Arts Theater. So what was the catalyst that made you turn from theater to business, and have you been able to merge those two passions?
I have been able to. I had a wonderful experience going to college for theater arts and worked in that field for many years after college, and there's so much crossover from the arts. In any kind of industry, there's the wonderful creativity that comes from being expressive, and there's also the organizational aspect of putting on a production. And so both of those things transfer well to being in business. Even though I loved being in the theater world, I always knew that I would own businesses, and I've really been able to merge those two things.
So tell us a little bit about your real estate company, and how is that doing now that we're coming out of that bad recession? Is business picking up for you?
One of the things that I think is very important when you're starting a business is that you have both active income from your business and passive. Active income would be income from whatever product and service you have associated with your business. But passive income would be things like owning the real estate on which your business is operated. Every time that I start a new business, I have a real estate piece with it. So I own my warehouse, or I own the property that the business sits on. That way I accumulate real estate, I accumulate equity in that real estate, and at the end of the life of my business, I have something to sell or lease. And that's part of my business strategy.
What kind of advice would you give someone who wants to start a small business today?
The main piece of advice that I would give somebody starting a business is make sure that you have a team in place before you open your business. And having a business is such a roller coaster ride. There are so many ups and downs. You really need an excellent, a certified public accountant as part of your team. You need a very good lawyer, somebody that you can trust and you can go to with all of your legal needs. And then, of course, you need family or a partner that can support you with the emotional and just the day-to-day requirements of having a business. A team is an important part of your success.
So what are the three most important things to consider when you start a new business venture?
The three things that I think are important all have to do with preparedness. The first is making a good financial plan, and that includes having a viable budget for your business and all of the things that make up a good budget. The second thing, I think, is being organizationally prepared, and that is thinking about what kinds of systems are you going to need to put in place for the day-to-day operations of your business, and think through all of those kinds of organizational things that really depend on how smoothly your business runs. How many employees will you have? What is going to be the business structure? Are you going to be incorporated, or are you going to run all of your finances through your personal taxes? Those are good things to consider. And I think the third thing is the most important, and it may seem unusual, but it is, how do you want your business to end? Before you ever open a business, you should consider when and how you want it to end and set goals. So do you want to have a business for 5 years and then sell it for a profit? Or do you want to have your business for your lifetime and hand it over to the next generation of people? Do you want your business to operate at the same size for the life of the business? Or are you going to try to grow that business to have multiple locations or possibly franchise it? Setting goals is directly related to the success of your business.
What do you think has been the biggest business challenge for you as a woman entrepreneur?
Like many women, I think balancing motherhood and a home life and having a very active business is a challenge, a daily challenge that you have to deal with on a continuing basis, and that's been the most difficult part. A small business is extremely demanding. The time that you have to put in, the resources, and the things that you have to keep up with in the industry are demanding, and to balance that with a home life is difficult.
Yes. Jill, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your expertise.
Thank you, Diane.
And thank you for joining us on this portion of Business Notes. This is your host, Diane Bogino, saying so long until next time.